Good evening, listeners, to today's edition of Graphic Showbiz Twitter X Dialogue Series. Today, we are having a very important discussion on theater. And we're going to talk about how relevant theater has been in pre-colonial times and in these times. Unfortunately, even as we wanted to talk about this topic just yesterday, as usual, staff of National Theatre, they were on strike, and this is not should I say is the challenges of National Theatre, should I say, has been a major burden for the growth, should I say, for the progress of theatre in Ghana. But it's not just limited to National Theatre. It's a bigger picture. And today, Graphic Showbiz comes your way again so that we have a very important discussion on theatre in Ghana. And we're going to have this conversation on whether theatre has received the relevant attention that it needs. Many times creatives, especially those who are in the theatre sector, they complain a lot about they not getting a lot of attention. There'll be a number of stories that Graphic Showbiz has carried, that we've had major players talking about how the sector. I know that there's been a story that we did with Fifi Coleman, who is our panelist for today's show. Talking about how, that sector has not really received a lot of attention, not just from players, from the relevant stakeholders, for its growth. And this evening, we are privileged, listeners, we are privileged to have George Quay, who is a playwright. You know him as an actor. I know him as a playwright, and he's the CEO of Image Bureau. This year, he's been on heat, he's been on fire, he's been doing a lot of productions. George, please, you can hear me. Can you please request so you can be made a speaker? Kindly tap the mic so you can be made a speaker. Okay, and then we also have Fifi Coleman. He is also an actor. He's a very popular, just like George Quay, he's a very popular face on our screens as well. And he's a very popular face on our screen as well. And he's also going to be our speaker, like just as I mentioned, just like George, I call him Abuaje because of his role in the popular taxi driver. He's also been on heat this year. I know last week he had a very successful production. Fifi Coleman. He's also been very relevant in the theater space for a long time, but recently he's been on heat as well. So he's also going to be at speaker. I know he'll be joining us soon. And then we have Lateef Abubakar. He's a playwright, and then he's the CEO of Globe Productions. Lateef, if you are online, please can you also request to be made a speaker? Okay, and then we have Kenneth Nee Sakisaki. He is the media liaison for Roverman Productions. There's Uncle Ebo leads Roverman Productions, and he's going to join us in today's discussion. So once again, good evening, listeners. Thank you once again for joining today's edition of the Graphic Showbiz Dialogue Series, where we are having a conversation on whether theatre is getting the relevant attention. And we are so grateful to our panelists for agreeing to do this with us today. And we are so grateful that you have also taken time off your busy schedule to join us. Once again, good evening, and we kick off the conversation. George, please, we have you online, please.
I believe I'm here.
Oh, okay.
If you can all hear me, good evening.
Good evening, please. Kenneth, please, are you set, please?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening to everybody.
Good evening, please. Okay, I think that maybe the other speakers will join us as we move on, but we can kick off. George Quay, I know that you have been quite, should I say, you've been, let me use this word, all over the place when it comes to the creative industry. So I don't want to limit you to just theatre, but for the sake of today's discussion, maybe I have to limit you to theatre. For how long have you been part of the theater industry? Maybe for those of us who might not have known your background apart from seeing you on Taxi Driver as Abwaje. Maybe you can give us a brief and then we can develop the conversation from there.
That's going to be a very long journey.
No, it won't be a long journey. Just make it short for me. Just make it short.
Because
I'm saying that because,
yes.
When we sent the flyer, people were like, it's just queer playwright. I'm like, well, you don't know that side of him. I know that side of him. So maybe you can give, for those who are online that may think that, how is he relevant in this space? They will know that you are not just on the screen, you are very relevant in the theater space as well. Just shorter than
it takes me way back to primary school, Association International. My first exposure to anything acting was on Uncle George Lane's Cheche Kule show, where I had the opportunity to play as former President Rawlings in a mock Commonwealth Summit. And then after that, in secondary school, I joined the Fansbum Theatre Society, the drama club. Won a few awards at the Student Drama Festival with some pieces that I had written myself. And then, I've been into it since. Of course, after secondary school, I started acting in the Taxi Driver series. And then I went to the University of Performing Arts. And then, did everything that we needed to study. We put up a few shows. I don't usually identify myself as a playwright.
Okay.
I like to identify myself more as a director because the pieces that I have written, I have about 8 written pieces. But I haven't used or staged any before.
Okay.
And I believe you have written and produced, published things. You have no right to play yourself.
Okay.
So I do not call myself a playwright. Yes, I'm a talented playwright, but in the official sense or use of the word, I do not qualify to be called a playwright. So yes, can I do it? Yes, I can. But is it something that I have done professionally or been known to do professionally yet? Not yet. But I believe eventually that aspect would also show and people will get to know. But for now, I like to identify myself as an event and theater practitioner. But my core business is communications, planning, and design.
Okay, so with that background set, I think we can officially kick off with our today's conversation. I just saw that Fifi Coleman has joined. Fifi, please, good evening, and thanks for joining. Can we hear you, please?
Yes, good evening. I'm very happy to be on this platform.
Yeah, we are also very excited to have you. And Kenneth, too, we are also excited to have you. So we're kicking off today's conversation. Theater. We've talked about theater, like I was saying. I quite remember that, from what I have read and what I've been told, we know that theater started as a way of people enacting oral traditions, although like with body movements and dialogue. That's history of theater pertaining to, maybe should I say, Ghana, to illustrate stories told, like that's what we used to call an ancestor, an answer stories or an ancestor back in the days. It gradually evolved, to be what we call stage drama. Okay, so in pre-colonial Ghana, most ethnic groups, especially the Akan, they held a lot of cultural celebrations, and did a lot of enactment and all these things. But times have evolved, just like times have evolved, gradually in 1992, the National Theatre was established, before it was the Ghana studio, and then later the National Theatre. But for should I say in the last couple of years or more, not necessarily couple of years, those in the theatre industry have, should I put it in quotes, a lot of noise about the sector being neglected, especially when it comes to the bigger creative industry. They believe that if not just subsequent governments, or successive governments, even within the space itself, theater is not given much attention. Joshua, I want you to take this question. Maybe Fifi can take over. Is that the case? Is it that theater is not giving much attention? Is it that we ourselves, we don't understand what theater is? Or perhaps we are not giving the players are not giving a lot of, should I say, spotlight to that unit of the creative industry.
All right. Thank you very much. When I hear that something is not giving attention, I always ask myself, who should give it attention? Because those in the, let us say, maybe the creative, we are the creative space, those in maybe the tech space, I mean, who gives them any visibility? Aside the National Science and Math quiz, that gives the science and maths people some visibility. I mean, really, what else gives them visibility? Unless maybe there's a disease, big time, like COVID-19, then they all become very relevant. But we all know they are there. So who should create or design visibility or attention for who? I don't think a problem in the art space is a problem of visibility. It is a problem of appreciation and respect. But I do not blame the people that do not give it the necessary attention and respect that it deserves. I blame the genesis of our sector, the history. And when we go a little back into history, we know how our sector began. It started out as even all this oral tradition and a little bit of concert party here and there. They call them the jokers, concert for that kind of behavior. That kind of thing. We were never considered a serious or an integral part of anything. It was always seen as entertainment. And then, of course, when you also looked at the people that were in it from the very beginning, they were not people that had any other thing going on for them. It was all that they did, and they would go and perform, and people would drop money into baskets for them. They would pick it, they would share, they would go home. A lot of them lived in poverty. So I always share the experience that I had with my father when I wanted to do this, because in my house, everybody wanted me to be a lawyer. My dad invested in books for me to read as a child. He wanted me to speak different. He wanted me to be different. He wanted me to articulate things differently and all that, because he wanted to one day see me wearing a suit and that thing they put on their head, that ridiculous gear they put on their head. I find it very funny. I'm he wanted to see me in one of those standing in courts, battling or, talking people's cases for them. But I found a different path. And when I wanted to go this way, it was a tough fight at home. And my dad asked me one question, which I recall till date. He said, okay, if you tell me you want to be an engineer, I can say, oh, look at so-and-so engineer. This is his house. These are his cars. He travels every year. He flies business class. You tell me you want to be a doctor. I can say, look at this doctor. You tell me you want to be a pilot or something. I can point out people that you can be like. But if you tell me you want to be an actor, so that you can be like who? And no disrespect or any offense to them. At the time, the people that we had, that we looked forward to, were people like Mensa, Super Udi, and stuff like that. People that we saw at trotro stations. Not people who were riding in their luxury cars, living in big houses and all that. People that it looked like they were hustling, they were struggling. So from that onset, the craft itself did not appear serious. When you see them in town, they weren't wearing the most expensive clothes. They weren't driving the flashiest cars. They weren't living in the biggest mansions. Or maybe very few had exceptional lifestyles, probably because of the families they come from. But generally, the people that were leading the sector that we pride so much appeared poor. So instantly, the sector did not really have any respect. Over time, though, thanks be to God, things have changed. Things have really changed over time. I mean, today you look at once upon a time, when you go on that stretch of road where Fifi Coleman Productions is located, it's only big businesses that you see there. Today, thanks to somebody like Fifi Coleman, we also have a company there that represents the art. And it's an honor, it's a joy to see. You understand? Where Image Bureau is located, Asylum Down. Who are you to be able to afford a rental space in Asylum Down? Today we're working hard. We have spaces there. And other people have other production houses. There's Farmhouse Productions. There's that. But some time back, these did not even exist. It was tough to find proper production houses doing proper productions. There were all these theater societies and unions, Chewbones, Cozy Theater Company, Royal Theater Players, and all those things. Some were rehearsing at the Cocoa Affairs Court, some were rehearsing at Art Center, some were rehearsing at Citizens Center in Asylum Down, and other places. And they were not living the life that you'd want your child to live. So a lot of parents also drifted their kids away from it because no parent will want to invest in a child and then the child becomes a liability in the future. Our sector looked like a sector that was creating liabilities. So respect was a big problem for us from the very beginning. But like I said, today that narrative is changing. That narrative has changed. So it has now become an onus on the rest of us who are still in the industry, or those of us who are in the industry, to show to the rest of the world that, look, this is actually a sector that you might want to consider. This is actually a sector that if you look at, we can change a lot of things in our society. This is a sector that is profitable. This is a sector that is beneficial. You understand? Today, our billing system has changed. Today, our lifestyles have changed. Today, I mean, look, the most expensive clothes are worn by creatives. Some of the flashiest, finest cars in society are driven by creatives, and all that. So things have changed, and it's not the same anymore. So if you ask me if the industry or the sector has attention, I say those of us who have managed to weather the storm and have come this far need to consciously create that attention. And we're all guilty. For a very long time, we abandoned the space for somebody like Uncle Ebo White alone to apply the dray. And God bless that man. That man is probably the reason today people like myself, Fifi Coleman, Nash Okoye, and other people are finding our way back into the space. Because that man he kept it alive. Look, it got to a point where all these theater societies did not even exist anymore. Look, today a lot of them don't even meet anymore. All these groups that I mentioned, if you try looking for them, you may not even find them. Go to Atenta, the place doesn't even exist anymore. The theater societies are all dead. And it's been like that for about a decade. The one person who has kept this industry going is Uncle Ebo White. And look, we've got to salute him for that. So we do. And now that we're all finding our way back, I think the visibility ought to be created by us. If we do not find a way, somebody asked me, but why are you always promoting somewhere? I said, because if I don't, you will. If we in the space don't consciously hold each other's hands and create the visibility that we need to let people see that it is a lucrative sector, it is a profitable sector, it is a good sector that can do something positive for society, we're not going to go anywhere. So we have to create that visibility and that respect and that honor to the crowd. We have to create it ourselves by first supporting one another.
Okay, by first supporting one another. That's quite an interesting submission. I understand your point, George, from the angle that you think that if though the players themselves do not appreciate, should I say, what they are doing, and people don't recognize, should I say, their potentials as well, then much cannot be done. But this question doesn't go to you, okay? Maybe this question can go to Fifi Coleman. But I know that there are challenges. I don't even want to mention National Theatre. I know that, like you are saying now, a number of you have decided to come back into the space. From last year, you've been doing a lot of production. Fifi has been doing a lot of production. I know Uncle Ebo White in past days has been doing, Ansa and all of them, and Latif and all of them. They've been doing all these things. But if even the facilities are not there, do you get me? If we don't have the centers, even National Theatre, for instance, I know some of you, when you do you stage your plays, sometimes you have to do like at 2 p.m., at 4 p.m., at 8 p.m. and do it number of days. You understand? So even the availability of facilities, does it not cast a slur on the should I say the growth and development of the theater? Probably even as a country, we've not looked at this direction that, Charlie, maybe this lack of infrastructure, lack of theater halls and all those things, they are really drawing us back. Maybe we should also look at that angle. Maybe Fifi can take this question up. Have we done, have we put in measures, structures, have we given a lot of attention to some of these, some initiatives to make even the players, if they are serious, to make their work and their efforts quite, should I say, smooth and give theater that shine? Do you get me, please?
I think where you're coming from.
Fifi, please can you speak up for me? Your voice is a bit down.
Is it any better now?
Yes, please. Thank you. It's better.
So I was saying that I'm trying to figure out the angle where you're coming from with this, right? It's I think it boils down to the spaces conversation that's been going on for a minute, like the promises of spaces. And also, you keep on saying we, right? And by we, who are you referring to? I keep hearing, have we done enough?
No, we're talking collective, whether governments, whether players, whether those in the theater, creatives, those in the theater space themselves. Because when George was saying that he doesn't think that we should call for attention. He thinks that maybe those in the industry, they should also, the little opportunities that they have, they should make use of it so that people can appreciate and give recognition to the craft or to the sector. Well, yes.
Let me add a little bit to what my senior said, in the beginning with when he's talking about the culture, where we are coming from and why things are the way they are. For example, when National Theatre became a thing, it was mostly not known for theatre even itself. It was known for musical concerts. I don't know whether you are aware of this. People actually went there and it hosted musical events more than it did things that has got to do with theatre. On its own. The space available to us. Before that, we had the Arts Center, where the Ghana Union of Theatre Societies will have this whole, our festival, and that's where all the shows are done and all of things. There's a Fosterland Drama Studio and all these pockets of spaces that were available for us to use to show what we could do. The limitations were that all these things were centered in the hub of the city. So any other place that did theater or had anything to show, for it to be relevant, they had to be seen on certain platforms. For example, even with performances or shows at the National Theatre right now, if it is done at the Folks Place, it is looked on as like, it's a small one, it's not like, whatever. If it's at the main auditorium, then that is when it becomes like a thing. We have come like a very, like George said, there was a whole period where there was nothing, okay? And when there was nothing, nobody cried for spaces. Nobody was saying, whatever. When it started gaining any traction, that was when it even became a political promise that we will build more theaters. We have found ourselves in this where we keep talking about, the relevance of it. Do we have enough of it? Whatever it is. I have always argued from the point that and for those who cannot, don't understand what I'm saying, like the existing ones, okay, the existing spaces that we have, if we are unable to manage and utilize it for what it's supposed to and gain from it, why do we build more? Why do we create the spaces when the ones that are existing are suffering and nobody is taking care of that? Nobody really cares about how the very main one, the biggest one that we all know, the National Theatre of Ghana, the whole world, there's only one National Theatre of Ghana in the whole world. It would never change. Nothing would ever happen in the course of history that they would change it. We would always know it as the National Theatre of Ghana. So when we go there right now, the question is, does that represent us enough? Is it the idea of building more spaces, or is the idea of making sure that the existing ones are functional? And by that prototype, we can then go to another. Because if we don't know what is working at the main one, what can work, if we're building another, who are we even transferring from the main place to go manage those spaces? We need to look at that first before we even talk about, but they haven't created enough spaces for us to do this. They haven't done that. They haven't done that. They haven't done that because they haven't found any relevance for us. We in the past didn't put any relevance on what we did. So who are you expecting to come? Like, who are you expecting to come and do it for us? If we all walked around saying that, they are not minding us. They are not minding us. They're not minding us. Yes, they are not minding because they do not see our importance as yet. When I got the topic, it said relevant, attention. And I was like, from who? I can tell you where the relevance is coming from. It's coming from the patrons that are patronizing theater nowadays. Now, I adjust my hat to thousands are thronging the National Theatre to come and see plays. It doesn't have to be George. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be Uncle Ebo. People are just loving the idea that there's this uprising of theater, and they're coming there to come and enjoy themselves. So from those people, yes, the relevance is coming from their angle. From the people who are blind enough to know the power of theater and what it can do in any society, they don't give us any relevance. They're going to wait a little bit more. Let's wait maybe 3 months to election, it will become relevant. But when it comes to spaces like that, like you're saying, I'm just saying that, yes, we do need the spaces. Yes, we do need other avenues to show what we have. But first of all, let us see how we have treated the ones that we have, how we have managed the ones that we have. If we are able to do good by them, then yes, please, by all means, let's spread our wings. Let's just create them all over the place and let's have something going.
Okay, I like the bit that you said. Maybe when it's 3 months to elections, we will get, theater will get the relevant attention. It was quite interesting. Nisaki is the media liaison for Riverman Productions, and we all know, not that we all know, Uncle Ebo White has been commended a lot for, should I say, for holding the fort, at a time when theater was thought to be, not that was thought to be, but when theater was quite absent in the creative space, when nothing was happening in the space. And for one who has worked with Uncle Ebo White and media and Riverman Productions for a while, maybe you would want to share, how they were able to, should I say, to get patrons at a time that, let's be frank, National Theatre, even now, they are so struggling to get people. What did they do differently? What initiatives? What did they do differently that got them the numbers that even, should I say, not that should I say, I'm just being frank, National Theatre was struggling to even get about 25% of the numbers they were getting when they had programs. Maybe Kenneth can help us with that. What did you do differently? Did you also think that, when you held on, you would get that support, like how George and Fifi just, agreed that they are enjoying now? What did you do differently at that time? And what did you do differently at that time? Maybe I should just limit it. What did you do differently at that time?
Okay, so good evening to everybody. Good evening to Uncle George. Good evening to my big brothers in the industry. Thank you very much for this opportunity. First off, I think that we should understand that the story of Uncle Ebo White and Riverman Productions did not start in 2008. As a matter of fact, that was when he broke forth, literally. If we have listened to Uncle Ebo White quite regularly, he's always told the story of how his first play failed so bad. He took a loan and it took him 2 years to pay. He actually wrote another one where he sold his car and did not get the money back. He has said that he started writing and producing plays in 1975. So calculate from 1975 till the year 2008, when Riverman Productions actually, or Uncle Ebo White actually became a household name. And since then, for like the past 14 to 15 years, it has become the story as we know it. It goes to prove that there's been a lot of hard work that has gone inside. There have been days, as he mentioned, he's taken loans that he didn't get the money back. So he's had days, literally bad days, where the plays have tanked, or the audience, the people have not just showed up to come and watch the plays. So this is someone who showed a lot of resilience. I believe that both Fifi and George and every theater industry player here, I see a lot of them in the listeners, would attest to the fact that in order to get people to come and watch a play, it is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of hard. It's not just enough putting the play on stage. It's not just enough rehearsing on the play itself and blocking and all of that. Now, it is a lot of hard work getting people to come and watch a play at the National Theatre. So what we've done at Riverman Productions is finding ways and means to delight our patrons quarter upon quarter, because we actually have a quarterly promise to fulfill, to our patrons, that every quarter we are going to put up a play. So we have to make sure that we have to go back to them every quarter. We have to make sure that we keep tabs on them. We have to make sure that we have a relationship with them, literally. in addition to whatever we do on stage in terms of working hard to make sure that we have a great play, of course, which will also keep people coming back. We also have to make sure that within the quarter we keep tabs on them, literally checking up on them, literally calling them, literally making sure that they are still in touch. We're still in touch with them, making sure that we have good relations with them till the next quarter. Now, our aim or dream is that we want to make ourselves and our patrons into one huge family, sort of, so that at the end of every quarter, we gather at the National Theatre, more like a family gathering, of course, like a family reunion, everybody from those going on stage to the patrons coming to watch. So then it becomes part of a huge community. And I believe that over time, that is what has become of our theater community, that it's become more like a theater fraternity. Because I go watch a play. Recently, I went to watch Sound of Music, and I saw a lot of people that were coming to watch Roverman production shows there. You know, I've seen a couple of, I've seen Fifi's play before. Not this one. There was one that he did, Women at Work. And I went to see Women at Work, and I saw a lot of people there who also came to watch Roverman play. So gradually, it's become one huge community. And I know that we're all doing the hard work. So we keep tabs on them, we check up on them, we call them literally. We make sure that everybody's okay. Because one big thing that we believe in, as much as we're investing in the media to make sure that our plays are ahead and all of that, is also word of mouth. Because if a Roverman play comes up, or any play at all comes up, and anybody tells you, oh, these people are really good, George's plays are really good, Fifi's plays are really good, or there's a play at the National Theatre and we can guarantee that the play is really good by word of mouth, clearly you can have one person bringing like two other people, one person buying tickets. And that's what we have. We have one person buying tickets to people and saying that, I want you to see this one. It's beautiful. They come and they watch it. And next time you have a new patron who is stuck to it. So then it becomes a regular thing. And that is how by and by our numbers are growing. So yes, the man has paid his dues since 1975. So 2008, you do the math, where we're now steady. But there's a lot of work to be done in order to increase the numbers and make sure that there are more people coming to the National Theatre anytime a play is announced.
Yeah, hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I had a brief interruption. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I had a brief interruption. Sorry, please. Can I just conclude?
Yes, so like I was saying that right now it's become a huge community of theater goers where we see people who attend plays cut across, and we believe that there's a lot of hard work that has been put in by all parties involved, and that is it, because we believe that word of mouth also plays a very key role in making sure that auditoriums are filled anytime there's a play. And so that anytime there's a play that is announced, be it from Roverman Productions, from Image Bureau, from Fifi Coleman, or any other theater production house, the National Theatre or wherever the play is happening is, will be filled, because it's a lot of work, believe me, it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. I just want us to move to this. So this question goes to Judge Quay. I want to find out, do we has theater in Ghana really served, a tool for cultural identity? Whilst we are doing theater, are we really looking at how we are projecting our culture with theater? Have we really been, has it been used as a tool? Because I quite remember when we were young, back in the day, like TV theater, Osofodazi, and all those. I know that most of the time, some of these government policies, they enacted them for people to have better understanding. I know that with concert party and some of these is it drama groups that were there, sometimes they use some of their plays to talk to us about some of our culture and even, should I say, societal values. But we also know that theater goes a lot with culture. So in Ghana, has theater, I want to know, as players, are we really using theater, to form a good cultural identity for us as Ghanaians? Hello, George. Interruption. Hello? Hello?
I think
Hello?
George needs made speaker again because he's now a listener. Maybe you can just. Okay, he's a speaker now, sir. All right.
Hello? Is it from my phone?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes,
Great.
yes, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Yes, I can hear you,
Great.
sir.
Great. So, I mean, absolutely. Look, theater plays a very significant role in, should I say, preserving and expressing cultural identity, not just in Ghana, in any country in the world. It's a key role that theater plays all over. And Ghana is definitely no exception. Let me take it from every time, a foreign dignitary is visiting. Look, from time immemorial, what are you most likely to see? On arrival at the airport, there's a little kitty group that is doing their thing. And what if I ask all of us right now that this current government that we have, what is their most significant success? If I ask you, we would all agree that it's beyond the return, this year of the return thing. And what space championed it the most? It is art and theater. It is a creative space. And that is what is helping all these diasporans want to come back home. They want to say, I want to connect with my roots. I want to identify. They are taking up Ghanaian names. They are adapting schools. And all that. It is all immersed. It is all connected to theater. Some years back, when the British High Commission wanted to celebrate or commemorate 400 years of slavery in Ghana, it was an event. I was with Charterhouse at the time, and we produced a very huge event. It was during President Kufuor's time, and it was all theater, and it was done at the Elmina Castle, and it was all theater related. So there is nothing, if you ask me, nothing has identified us as a people in Ghana as far as our cultural identity is concerned. Nothing has identified us better than theater. Look, it's a very powerful medium that showcases our traditions, our values, tells our stories, and really, I don't even know what else anybody could ever say to negate this. That, oh, look, if we are talking about cultural identity in Ghana, the best two that has done it the best, the most, it's totally theater. There's
Hello, George.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you
Yes,
hear me?
I think you
Good.
went off.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
That is why if you ask me, I would say that, look, consistently, I think over the years, governments, past and present, have not done nicely as far as theater is concerned. I heard Fifi when he spoke, and I heard you when he spoke about the availability of spaces. If theater is something that we value, if the creative sector as a whole is something that we really want to place a lot of premium on, look, if the year of return and beyond this entire year of return and beyond the return would fail woefully if it weren't for theater and the creative space. I mean, what would you have celebrated? What would you have done? Because when people come down and you take them to the dungeons, the slave castles, and all the people that are even talking to them, that is theater. When you look at the history of theater, the days of Thespis, when they would speak to the chorus, and then at one time Thespis moved away to speak to the chorus, which was the birth of theater. When you go to a tour site and there is a tour guide that is telling you the history, that is oral tradition being passed on. That is theater right there. Right there. So this entire concept of year of return would fail without theater. It would fail woefully without the creative space. And if it is the biggest achievement of this government, then it should tell us something. So yes, like Fifi, my heart also breaks when I see that auditoriums like the State House Banquet Hall have been shut down. When I see that auditoriums like the I see that an auditorium like the National Theatre, let's not even go there. That's a totally, you would need an entire Twitter space conversation for that one. And I see that you go to places like the University of Ghana, and I've been crying about this one. And look, speak to the university authorities, past and present. The one school that used to earn the university a lot of foreign exchange. Anytime you saw a white student on the campus of University of Ghana, it was not for him to come and learn science or law or math or anything. They came to the School of Performing Arts. That school earned the university the most foreign exchange. They should prove me wrong. When you go to the International Student Hostel, almost all the students there were products of the School of Performing Arts. They are students from the School of Performing Arts. They are the dance department, they are the music department, they are the theater department, but it is not the same anymore because facilities have not improved over the years, and the few that are there have been left to rot. And the one auditorium that was started some 20 years ago was abandoned halfway through, and it's also been left to rot. The abandoned structure itself, it's been abandoned and it's getting rotten by the day. And meanwhile, what breaks my heart the most is that at the same time, when you go to other departments, there are other structures that came up way after, and those structures have been finished. And this auditorium is being funded by the Get Fund. When you go and speak to Get Fund will tell you that, look, we are catering to every other educational institution in Ghana. So when you come to us with $1 million, we may not be able to give you $1 million because that's what you're asking for. Because we also have to cater to UCC, we have to cater to KNUST, we have to cater for IP, everybody else. So we may tell you that you're asking for $1 million, but for this year we can give you $100,000. So take this $100,000 and go and prioritize your project and let it deal with the one that you feel is most important. You know what that tells me? That tells me that the School of Performing Arts has never been important to the authorities of the University of Ghana. Not the vice chancellor, not the registrar, none. If till date, for almost 20 years, this is the kind of arrangement you have with Get Fund. They give you money and tell you to go and prioritize so that you can manage the money well. Come again next year, we'll give you money. And for so long, this auditorium has not been finished. It tells you that they are not interested. And that is academia. And that is why I cannot sit back when another academic would sit on radio and say that some schools are learning science and maths, others are dancing and singing. No, it's derogatory, it's disrespectful. Then when we even cross over to the National Film and Television Institute, same. A cinema, auditorium, studio, ultra-modern that was being built for them was just abandoned. And for years, nobody has given a rat's backside about it. So for me, theater as a tool. Meanwhile, like Fifi Coleman said, when it's time for elections, they'll come for the creatives. And unfortunately, some of my people will also go. Well, you cannot blame them. They are business people. They are working. So they have to go and get paid. So they will go. When it's time, they will come for you. When they wanted their biggest project, the Beyond the Return, Year of Return, creatives, we've driven it. It's been successful. It's one of the biggest things that ever happened in this country. You understand? Look, recently, Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum Memorial Park, I hear it's now generating millions of CDs. It falls under our space and all that. So if everything indicates that this is a space that is profitable, my worry is, why does it also happen to be one of the most neglected spaces? So has it served its purpose? Does it help us foster our national identity? And nothing else can do it better than the creative space. Nothing else can do it better than theater. And we have done it consistently over the years. And we'll continue to do it. And nothing else can do it. Look, your flag cannot represent you, just like your flag and your coat of arms and your national anthem would represent you. And these are all subsets of the creative space, from the national flag to the coat of arms to the national anthem to the national pledge. And the national pledge, for me, it's poetry. The national anthem, that's music. The national flag and the coat of arms, that's all art. It falls within the space. So why can't we see that this is the space that drives the country? Why can't we see? Sorry, I get a little passionate when the conversation gets to this point, but
yeah, I understand you. I perfectly understand you. I don't know. Fifi, do you share similar sentiments with George Quay? You know, do you share similar sentiments with him on or what he's getting emotional about?
I don't think Fifi is still on, but if I may, look,
Ken, you can come in, please.
look, let's face facts. There are cities over the world, there are countries over the world that are known for their artistic value, and people travel there and go and look. Let's take a good look at the Cannes Film Festival. There are places that people go to. There are monuments all over the world that are symbolic or that are symbols of theater that people pay good money to. These countries have nothing but theater, but the arts to show, and they are making good money from it. So why is that particular relevance not shown or not given to our very own country? As he mentioned, from our national flag to the anthem to the pledge to even some of the songs that we sing, our patriotic songs that we sing, to some of the recitals that we do, and all of those things. As he mentioned, if you're given $100,000 and said that go and prioritize, and for the past 20 years, not even a penny of it is going to the theater elements and that singular facility that gives you the highest foreign exchange in your school, then it shows your mindset. It shows something, and I think that it's a bit sad. It's quite sad because look, as George mentioned, we would need a whole new space to talk about the National Theatre on itself, right? Now, the National Theatre, if you look at it, I heard, maybe George can confirm, that it is the only structure right now that is fully designed for stage plays. Everything else is a makeshift. Everything else you'd have to add on or take away. You have to do some adjustment to it. But the National Theatre is the only edifice currently, not even in the capital, in this country. In this country, that is the only building standing that is fully designed.
Yep.
And yet over time,
you're right, it is.
And yet over time, let's look at even the maintenance culture of that one edifice in our 16 regions. That one edifice, let's look at how it's been taken care of over time. That things as Charlie, when we say we want to get emotional over these things, it will be some way. But then it also tells a preference. It feels like, oh, when we need the art people are there. As George mentioned in the beginning, they should come and lighten the mood for us to get to the proper things. You understand? Let's go and call the artist for them to come and let's let them drink the ice for us to. But look, there are countries that are cashing out big on their theater. As I mentioned, Cannes. I mean, when you talk about the city of Cannes, if you take away the film festival, what else is left? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The whole this thing of Greece, really Greece. If you take away the historical element of Greece, which is largely storytelling, which is largely theater and all of that, what else is left? Why can't we? And we are not lacking in this department. You understand? Let's ask relevant attention. Fifi is asking from who, And first off, I like to say something. I like how George opened his statements by saying that we over time it's not a lack of attention, it's actually disrespect.
Yep.
And I would like to credit the artists in the past, let's say 15 to 20 years, because the kind of revolution in quote we've been able to take the arts and brought it to. A lot of the things we've done now is us finding our way, clawing our way out of issues and making sure that we are putting it at a place where it's getting the due respect that it needs. Trust me, outside, right? A play doesn't run for 2 weeks and close. No.
It runs.
A play
goes on a tour.
Yes.
Travels.
A play runs. It runs. the least is like a year. The least is like a year, and it's constantly going. Do we even have the facility to say that maybe George's play is running for a year and he's going to get the support for it, or what?
Oh, let me not cut you. When you mention facility, look, after our rehearsal early on today for our upcoming play, Larut means the gods are not to blame. And then we started discussing the possibility of going, maybe visiting about 6 other regions with it. And then the question came up, but which state? Because the state setup is pretty elaborate. And we suddenly realized that there is no other stage in Ghana aside the National Theatre that can accommodate it. So instantly, the dream is shattered. So it means without the National Theatre, that play, the thing that we've been rehearsing for about 3 months now, that we put in so much effort and everything, there are things that are being imported. There are things, people are traveling from other countries specifically to come and do things just for that play, and you cannot take it anywhere. And all you have is just 4 shows, and that's it. It's done. You invest so much.
Yeah.
You're investing almost 500K for just 4 shows. And we know very well the 500K will not come back. But that's what you have, 4 shows, and it's done. Yeah, but it is what it is.
For every time we've had to go on the road, right? Because we do road shows as well. Every time we'll have to make adjustments to a stage. We'll have to endure a part because, of course, it's not fully built for that particular purpose. And I ask myself, they are supposed to be centers of national culture. At least these are the representatives of the National Theatre in the individual regions. I've been to the one in Cape Coast, Charlie. The least said about that, the better. I've seen the one in Takrade, and it is a half building. It has not been completed, and it's been there since. And you ask yourself, maybe Basha or no? You understand?
Yep.
When will it get to us?
So Kenneth, I'm sorry that I had to interrupt. So maybe I wasn't wrong. From the beginning when I was saying that the sector has not been given attention, because you see when I said it, George was during George's submission, he was saying that when those in the sector they work hard. But we all agree that sometimes it's not just about your output. It's a collective effort. So even if the players are doing their best and the facilities are not available, the support, the recognition, the appreciation, it's quite difficult to make any major impact.
No, you see, I'll tell you why I picked it from. When there is a football conversation in this country, do you realize how the entire country gets involved? When there is a football conversation, when there is maybe corruption conversation, when there's even a galamsey conversation, you see theatre get that kind of attention, even from the practitioners. When theatre conversations come up. How many people joined? I actually wrote an entire letter to the president on social media regarding the abundant drama studio. People in the streets didn't even bother to share it. Just share it. People in our streets did not even bother to do that. You understand? And then we are talking, we want attention and all that. If we do not create that attention ourselves, and you see, there's another aspect of our conversation that we need to understand. We are playing in a space that people invest in us with disposable income. And it is not just our patrons. It is also the people that are supposed to invest in us. And that includes government. It is disposable income. Look, when companies want to cut down their budgets because of any crisis whatsoever, what budgets do you think they cut first? It's advertising. If we are putting advertising into the general scheme of things, where do you think advertising will fall? Advertising will fall right within our space. You understand me? So that is the broader picture that I want us to have. That is the way I want us to look at it. And we do not begin to look at it that way. Then really, we are not going to go in. It has to be us. We have to create the... Look, I do not sit down and wait for somebody to say that, oh, you were the best. No. one ton area. I would boldly claim that I'm the best event planner in Ghana. Anybody else who thinks he's better should also do his events. Let us claim ours. Let us show its relevance. Let us show its importance. Let's continue to make noise about it. When Fifi Coleman puts up a play that he's going to stage, let everybody share it. Let's overshare it. Let's make noise about it. Those who have media that can support, let's jump on it. Let's support it. Let somebody in Parliament ask, these folks, what is it that they are doing? Until Parliament, the parliamentarians themselves come and sit there at the National Theatre. Now, they will wake up. When they go to Parliament, it will become a conversation. But if we do not make noise, it does not get into their heads. If we do not let them see how important the sector is, what the sector can become, the potential of the sector, if we ourselves do not start it, champion it, and lead it, trust me, nobody will do it for us. Don't forget, the Ministry of Tourism is not a cabinet position. So they are not seated in cabinet. The ones that are in cabinet are your health and your whatever, roads and development, whatever. They are there. Tourism is not a part of it. So we are still in the disposable space. If we do not make the relevant noise and create the relevant attention for our space, I say, Oba, so one ball ponds, one man, one yefe, and shatter the pa, and pay you, papa being Jinaswa. We see Chroma, baby, I'm for
This is your final submission is debatable anyway. But I have a question here. George and Nee, maybe you can help me out. One of our listeners, her name is Gwen Bani. I hope I had the name right. She's saying that I should ask, maybe apart from the venues, those in theater, they can also look at catching the youth from the high schools, because she believes that catching them young, when they appreciate theater from that stage, it becomes a part of them in their adults. She's thinking, what about that? Are we also looking at that space? If you are talking about theater and its relevance, what about the young ones? I remember my days, we had Kida Fest in a National Theatre. For many years, Kida Fest, I don't know what it has become. It's non-existent. So she's asking, what about the young ones? Why don't we introduce theater to them in the senior high schools? While they go, they appreciate that, and then it becomes a part of them. Maybe Ken can take this. Hello? Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you now. Did you hear my question, please? Otherwise, I can repeat it.
Yes, I did. I actually saw one of
the young ones.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So I remember Kida Fest. I remember the drama fest. Actually, I remember the secondary school engagements, the drama competitions, and all of that. And it's something that has got to do with, it goes beyond just the players of the, or goes beyond just us in the industry. For instance, it goes beyond GQ, Image, but it goes beyond Fifi Coleman, because this has been, if I'm wrong, kindly correct me, I'm up for corrections, but this has been a prerogative of GES. It's been something. Let's ask ourselves, what happened to our cultural studies in our educational syllabus over time? Why has it been scrapped? Is it still there? This GES thing, Drama Fest and all of that, what happened to Drama Fest? You understand? So if, for instance, an Image Bureau wants to pick it up, or a Rovman Productions wants to do something like this, clearly would have to go through GES, would have to go through a facility of government, would have to go through an arm of government. Now, at that point, the question is, there was once a system that was running already. What happened to that? How is that going to be fixed? You understand? So that opens up the conversation of, why was that scrapped in the first place? Or how come that one is no longer happening? It's not just enough saying that, okay, let's not look at the venues alone. Let's look at how we can start going back to high schools and the students and all of that. But we need would need GES to do this. Would need what has been their policies for this? What has been the stand of any government in this country on this in order to facilitate this? I think we need to answer these questions before we proceed in that particular angle.
Okay, so you think that that initiative should be spearheaded by GES? Okay, I get your point. I have some of our listeners want to contribute. We have Oswald Okainte. He's a poet and a spoken word artist. That's how he describes it. Maybe Oswald, if you want to talk, you can just request. We can give you the opportunity. Just tap on the mic and then we can give you the opportunity to make your contribution. But we'll still move on and then maybe we can take the conversation back to George. So theater and the creative industry and all of that. What can we do? We understand that yes, I don't know why I keep on saying we. Maybe because I'm a writer in the space. I like to identify myself with the players, but we so that there will be a belonging. We the creatives, we should give a lot of attention to what we are doing, and then the government. I don't want to be political, but truthfully, do we think that our government, we are not limiting it to this government, successive government, has it really just been a promise and fail to the theater? Because MPP government, I remember this amphitheater thing, it's been back and forth. Sometimes somebody will bring, pictures as evidence. A government official will come and counter it, just like Ken said. This National Center for National Cultures, those that they are in the regions, their states are, they are nothing. If I say they are nothing to roam about, I think I've even given them like it's just bad. It's should I say it's a shameful sight and quite bad for a country that you think that we should appreciate the arts and all of that. Should we blame success? Do we think that we've not had enough support? Yes, it's true, but apart from we supporting ourselves, if they say they won't mind you or they won't mind us, they won't.
You see, I, a few minutes ago when I spoke, I mentioned the fact regarding disposable income. Every manager or every business person will tell you that resources are scarce, wants and needs are endless, and that is the same with every country. Resources are very limited. We never have enough resources, especially for a developing country. I'm not here to hold brief for any government. Of course, I want more. But I think that is the fact. That is the reality on the ground. We want more, but we cannot have it all. But at least the little that we can. That is why it breaks my heart a lot for us to allow the National Theatre to deteriorate to the state that it is in. Because that is a simple issue of maintenance. We're lucky. The Chinese came to build it for us and all that, but we cannot continue to rely on the Chinese to also maintain it for us. You understand? I also understand, because if you go to government, what I'm telling you is exactly what they will tell you. Because yes, of course, I mean, let's be frank. There are schools that are sitting under trees. Children that are learning under trees because they do not have basic 3-unit classroom blocks. They do not have chairs. They do not have tables. They do not have libraries. They do not have anything. And you want them to come and build what? A cinema. You understand me? So yes, if I want to be realistic and look at the bigger picture, I can say yes, we should prioritize. So maybe we may come in a bit at the lower part of the food chain, but that is also our fault. And I'll tell you why that is our fault. And it goes back to something I've been saying. If you owe somebody money, let's assume you owe like 10 people money. And these 10 people, one of them, or let's say about 2 of them, constantly calling you every day, making noise every day, letting the world realize what the person needs from you every day. You are hearing from this particular person every day. The day money comes into your hands, who are you going to pay first? Is it not this very person? So that is why I say, if we want government attention, we have to demand court and make enough noise for that stuff that are on demonstration. Why aren't we all demonstrating for the National Theatre to be fixed? Why are we not all up in arms? Why are we all not on the streets?
We don't have venues. Why are we not coming together to shout back about it? Why are we not going to block some major way, block Temamutu way, fix the National Theatre for us or something? Why are we not? The ministries are all there.
George, are you there, please?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello, George, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I think you went off small.
Oh, okay, I broke a bit. Also, where did I break off?
He was fine. I think you checked
Sorry,
your
I'm
end.
driving. I'm mobile, so I may break off a bit. If you can remind me where I broke off, so I can pick it up from there.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. I was asking if you could remind me where I broke off, so I can pick it up from there.
You were talking about we still making the noise, like you're saying. You were talking
Exactly.
about
That's the thing.
something.
So I was saying,
every time you are calling.
yes, I was saying that if you owe 10 people money, the ones that are harassing you the most, the ones that you hear from the most, the day money comes into your hand, they are the ones that you pay first.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do not continue to make the noise, if we do not continue to demand attention, if we do not continue to create the visibility, if we do not continue, look, and that is why I got upset when people in the creative space were attacking Atwag for taking on the quiz mistress, for passing that comment. If we do not learn to blow little things out of proportion, we will never get the recognition we want. Because for years, that is what it has been. Oh, we know they said nyashi. Oh, we know they said nyashi. Oh, forget your and we have accepted it. And we keep accepting it. And if we do not stop accepting it, nothing would ever change. I say again that the buck stops with us. It begins with us and stops with us. Government will forever have a number of things on its table. Government has to deal with education, has to deal with health, has to deal with roads infrastructure. If you're the president and you wake up every morning and Temamuto Way is not done, and the road to Fantiako is not done, and the Akrapke Coast Road needs a dual carriage, and everything, and General Hospital has not been built, and the same, Lekma Hospital, the roof is falling, and then somebody is telling you go and renovate National Theatre. Would you? You won't. So we have to be realistic. We have to face the facts. If we do not get louder than the noise, the clatter in the space, we will never get the kind of recognition we think we deserve. And let's face it, it is not like recognition is lying there that you go and pick it up. You must fight for it to get it. If we want attention, unfortunately, we are in a country where the kind of leaders we get probably do not understand the value of the creative arts in general, or theater as a unit. There are other countries. When you go to like Dubai, for instance, when you go to South Africa, when South African government wanted to develop South African tourism, they went for the CEO of Barclays Bank because they knew where they wanted to go to. When you go to the UAE, they knew they had oil. They know one day the oil will get finished. So Dubai decided to open up to the world and invest tons, millions into tourism. So, I mean, well, until we get a government like that sees the kind of vision we see, I think we are the ones who have to make the noise. And we have to start by first supporting each other, by standing by each other, by believing in the cause. And let us all understand that nothing is ever personal. It is for the bigger picture, the bigger agenda. So that if there's a cause, even if we don't understand it, call somebody backstage, get to understand where the person is coming from, and join that cause. Some of us will never do anything for personal gain. We will do it for the bigger picture. And would want to call on everybody to join.
Nothing is never personal, like you just said. I want to move to Ken. Maybe if you're concluding, so that some of our listeners they've requested to ask some questions and to join in the conversation as well. Have we made? Please, can you hear me? Hello.
Please come again. Please come
Yes,
again.
I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Please repeat your question.
Okay. So I was saying that I just concluded with what George said. Nothing is.
Yes.
It's not a matter of personal interest. It's just for the collective good of the industry and for the progress of the sector as well. And I was mentioning that some of our listeners, they want to talk. So I want to ask you this question. You have been with Uncle Ibo White for some time. I don't know the number of years that you've worked with him, but I'm sure that you've come to understand and have an appreciation of the sector, the theater sector. Okay, let me just ask you this question. Maybe after your response, George too can ask. What are okay? We've talked about what we are doing right, but what are we not doing right? Let's just say, what are we not doing right? Is there anything we're not doing right, apart from the fact that even those of us in the industry, we don't think that we should give a lot of support and persuade our leaders to almost share so or there's something, or the usual, these are concert people. So these are concert people. So I wanted to say something, but my bosses are online. Like when you're in showbiz, your intelligence is being questioned, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but first off,
yes.
first before you even conclude, okay, I like to make it known that anybody who is an artist, an actor, is one of the smartest and most intelligent human beings you can ever come across. I think that notion that a performer who goes on stage, an actor, Nitiwu, or didn't have anything. Listen, in order to be able to play a role, for instance, I am not a doctor. I have not learned science. Let me give you a very typical example. I have in as much as I am the media liaison for Roverman, I've also been in quite a number of the plays put up by Uncle Boy. And in one of the plays that we did, there was this one of my colleagues, my boss, Kabute Okante. He played a certain role and he wanted to portray a certain character. And in portraying the character, he wanted to give the character a certain ailment, a certain disease. This gentleman went online, read everything there is, the symptoms, the behavioral patterns of people who had this kind of sickness, how they talk, how they behave, how they move, and everything. He was able to write notes and everything and use it to develop his character. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot play a role to outstanding capacity if you're not intelligent. Ask anybody who has been on stage. Ajite is here, ask him. George is here, ask him. You understand? So first off, let's all kill that notion that people who are in this particular industry or is a matter of last resort. That's why it is painful that when you go to school and they say that the students who had the high grades among science, those ones who are on the low grade, they should pursue their arts. And it is sad. But back to the question, and in closing, I wouldn't say that it is something we are doing wrong. I would say it's something we should do more, because yes, we get thousands strong into the National Theatre, but I think that we could still get more. And I believe that we are working very hard to make sure that the theater industry becomes strong, stands, solidifies. I think that what we can do is that we should keep working. We should keep at it. I opened by saying that Uncle Ibo started writing and producing in 1975. If after his first 2-3 failures, he decided to close the box and go to sleep, we would not have had what we've had for the past 15 years. And yes, I was on stage in September 2008. So I have experienced firsthand the entire story from 2008 till now of Roverman Productions. I think that it's as an issue of going back always to the drawing board to ask ourselves, what did we do right? What can we do better? What did we do right? What can we do better? So that it becomes a thing for people to move to. Whenever someone gets into this country and says, what is happening? Oh, there's a show. There's a play showing. So when they say there's a play showing, there's no notion that, oh, it's a subpar. But once they say there's a play showing, they know that it's one of the elements of quality that they can go and watch. And I like to say kudos to everybody, every theater practitioner who's working hard on this. I see them. I see Wellingham. Wellingham is here. I see you guys. You guys are working extra hard. Sig is here. You guys are working extra hard. Let's keep pushing hard. Let's keep working hard. It can only get better. We've been at this. We've been able to get it to a particular standard. The numbers are coming in. Yes, it can get better as we fight and make sure that we have very good facilities to put our plays there and to make sure that what is there can get better in terms of the facility. Let's also make sure that we are increasing on our quality, we are increasing on everything that we are doing, so that one day when they mention plays in Ghana, nobody thinks it's supper. Nobody thinks that the quality, oh, it's one of those things. No, they know that it's something great, it's something amazing, and you do not waste your money anytime to buy a ticket to come and watch any of the plays. Thank you very much. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you, please.
I don't know. Did I break off at a point?
No, I think I went off again.
Okay. So
Yes.
like I was saying that
Yes,
we can work better. We can make sure that this gets to the point where anybody who comes to watch gets to enjoy it fully and knows that theater practitioners are not subpar. As we try and make sure that we have better facilities, let's keep working craft and making sure that we can rock shoulders everywhere.
Okay.
Hello, Gifty.
Are we still on?
Yes, we're on. Yes.
I think Gifty is gone off.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can hear
I'm
you
here.
now.
Yes.
We can hear you now. Yeah, Gifty, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. So this question probably I would be grateful if
Can you
Judge
introduce
Quay.
yourself, please?
Can I what?
Okay, please
Hello,
go
can
on
you
with
hear
your
me?
Introduce
question.
yourself.
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Introduce
Go on with your
yourself.
question.
Oh, okay. All right. So my name is Paul. I work with Boom Play and also essentially I've been part of the entertainment space for a while now.
Okay.
I just want GQ to speak about the financial outlay or the financial implications of running theater in the country at this moment, and also probably if you touch on what a sustainable financial model looks like for organizers or like the businesses that actually run this theater productions. What does it think like a sustainable model will look like? Because in the submission, right, we can agree government support is not forthcoming and all that. I know people are also doing it, and it seems to be working on the face value, right? But we don't know the inner workings of how people are actually doing it. So I'm thinking if we can probably have a the finances actually being put out there, how the outlay is, maybe even for young people who are interested in theater, it could help in their decision making. And also perhaps we could also get maybe the right help, because I'm sure if the business is sustainable or it makes sense, instead of maybe government coming in to help directly, maybe we may have financial institutions or the private sector maybe providing a credit line or something. So I really want us to probably speak about that, and let's see how maybe we can get some solution from that angle too. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Now the thing is this.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. Okay. Now, every theater production comes with its own list of demands. Every play has its cost implications. I recall when we did Run for Your Wife, we had a total cast size of 8 people. But of course, we had a crew of about 50 or 60, if I'm not mistaken. Then we went on to do a detective calls. Total number of people on stage, 7. But of course, a crew, similar, about 50 or 60, and a very expensive set. Now we are doing The Gods Are Not to Blame with a cast of about 100. Well, core cast about what? About 15. But then there are a lot of there's townspeople, there's dancers, there's all that. Round it all up, you're around 100 or 120. So these are people who come to rehearsals every day. They come to rehearsal. Sometimes you got to, you need to, not sometimes, requirement at every rehearsal, you've got to provide some level of refreshment. You've got to provide some level of, or sometimes, yeah, for some of them, sometimes some TNT and all that. Rehearsal space. If you don't have a place that you can rehearse, you need to rent a rehearsal space. And then, of course, then comes in your other requirement, your stage, your light, your sound, your costume, your makeup. Then comes your lead actors that you're paying. And when we set out to do this, we decided to use people who are known in the space because we figure it might help bring some more visibility to augment what Uncle Ebo has done so far. Uncle Ebo has done very well, elevated it to a point. We figured by bringing in some of the known names and faces, we may help move it up to the next level and people will get to appreciate it better. So our cost module is very, very, very high. My theater partner, Nashoko, will tell you that for every production, we sit down, we have a conversation, then we tell ourselves, but we are not going to make money, right? And our answer is always yes. So we always have other reasons why we are doing it, and that is for the elevation of the entire theater sector and the growth of the industry. You mentioned that government isn't supportive or no support. I would be telling you a lie if I tell you that I haven't gotten any financial support from government before. Yes, there has been some. The GTA has supported us before on one of our productions. I think it was the Detective Calls. They supported us. For Run for a Wife, they mentioned they would support, but the support didn't come through. It was supposed to come through the Beyond the Return office. It didn't come through. But for Detective Calls, we did get something from the GTA. Yes, it's not enough to settle all your bills, but at least it was enough to pay for the venue for at least a day or two. So you cannot say there is one particular um, um, budget module, but the basic elements to pay for are all there, and it cuts across. It's the same. Your venue, your lights, your sound, your artists. A key element is publicity. And it's a major headache. Publicity is a big deal, and it's probably the most expensive part of it all, because you need to create a lot of visibility. Billboard, radio, TV. You need to hammer it in over and over and over again. And the more the media space expands, the more expensive it becomes, because for every new media space that comes, it means one other media organization has lost a certain level of viewership or listenership. So to be able to capture everybody, you would have to spread yourself pretty thin. And sometimes that is also very expensive because you need to increase frequency, you need to push hard. You don't even know what people are watching or listening to anymore. People are driving these days. A lot of us still believe billboards are relevant, but really, we don't do billboards to get people to come and watch the play. We do billboards to satisfy our sponsors because they are happy when they are driving. They see their logos on the billboards. They are okay. But trust me, if you are doing billboards to attract the patrons, when patrons are in their cars these days, their heads are in their phones. They are not looking around. So you are doing billboards, you're throwing money away. They are not looking around, but we still have to do it because for us, it all adds to the noise that we want to create for the space and all that. How are you going to make your money back? You've got to make your money back via ticket sales and sponsors, and you need to have a reason why you're doing what you're doing. If your reason is to make money, then you can tailor your production for that purpose. You can cut down your cost of production tremendously. You can use actors who are not very known, because the more popular they are artists, the more expensive they are. Every actor who has a little bit of visibility is pretty expensive. So you can cut down your cost by not using quote unquote stars or popular people. And then, those ones can help you a little bit. But if you want to go with stars, you want to go with popular people, then you should be able to break the bank and get them, because those ones are very expensive. Then again, you can be a little humble with your set design. You don't need to go all out and go elaborate and complicated and all that, because it is all costs. And then your lighting system, your sound system, and everything, and then even your venue layout. When people enter the space, the conference center, what do they see? Do you want to put a whole red carpet on the front stairs? When they enter, you want to see various photo spots? Do you want to create a VIP lounge? It is all cost, and it's all totally up to you. Once you are able to ask yourself, why am I doing this, and you have an answer to that question, your answer to that question will determine the level of investment you pump into it, because you need to know what will come out of it. And knowing what will come out of it will be determined by your answer to that question: why am I doing this? So that is the first and most important question you need to ask yourself. If you're able to answer that question, everything else can fall in place.
Kopna. Hello, Kopna. Hello. Are you answered? Has God answered your question?
I asked the question. I think GQ has answered the question greatly. Um, I was just think he actually mentioned sponsorships and ticket sales being the two sorts of like revenue stream for productions of that nature. Now that we have perhaps the sponsorship economy is actually broken in Ghana or even across board West Africa. I'm just thinking. I don't know how sustainable their operations is going to be. But again, he spoke about the fact that once you know what you want, perhaps you could tailor your cost elements in order to adapt. Um, if this is what is happening, I would just want to probably congratulate them for a great job being done, a great job they are doing within the space, because we need people beyond the challenges that we face within our industries. We need people still standing. Other than that, there'll not be any hope for anyone within even the young people wanting to enter the creative space. So yeah, so I do my hearts off for them, and I just wish
Thank you.
probably we can all help out the little way we can. If you see, and this is where community actually can be useful, because if you see the post, if you see the artwork, if you see the posters on your social media platform, at least just a comment, asking people to like purchase tickets, retweeting, posting yourself, sharing to your WhatsApp groups. I think this can go a long way to help in a small way. At least if we can rally that community support for our industry or for our creative sector, I think maybe we can start making some small headway, and perhaps the help that we need may actually come, like you said earlier on. So thank you again for the the answers. Thank you.
No, okay.
Hi, Paul. Paul, can I challenge you to do something?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. Are you in Ghana?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
I
in
said you're
Ghana.
welcome. Thank you. Yeah.
Right. So this is what I want to challenge you to do. Okay. Have you seen any play before? Any play, be it
Is it
from
okay to
Rover
run off
Band?
now? My
Yeah,
time
yeah,
is
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, you
Yeah,
have.
I have. Yeah,
Right. So
but it's
then
been a while.
it's been a while. Okay.
Yeah.
So if
Gifty.
anytime you hear of an advert or you see a poster, kindly you can at least share it to like 5 of your friends, or if you can, just buy a ticket or two and give it to a friend and say, you know what, let's go watch a play
Gifty, I
for a
would have to
change.
beg leave, please. Getting into another meeting online in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 6:45.
Okay, so we can just round up. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Ken, just wrap it up so that we can wrap up, and then we are already far behind time, so that we can just wrap
Yes,
up and
yes,
then.
yes. So this is my appeal to Paul and everybody else who is listening. Once you are in the country, once you are in a place where there's a day that's going to happen and you get to hear of it, just share the artwork, their friend. if you can, buy a ticket, buy one for a friend, buy one for a loved one, and then go and watch it. Would very much love to hear feedback from the place. This is how it grows. As you mentioned, it's a communal thing, so it's going to be grown a lot also by the community. Let us make this grow. This is the relevant attention that we can make it grow. So share the artworks, buy tickets for friends and family, and join the family. I don't think that you would actually regret doing that.
Okay. No.
Yeah, I will. Mommy, I think you can go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, gift you. We
Yeah,
are waiting on you. You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So because we are far behind time, I think the time I gave George, I think that my time is it's overdue, and he said it. But based on what Kobna said, I said Kobna, Ken said, Saki said, maybe we can just conclude, urging everyone to be part. Maybe I can conclude that we should always remember that we are no small parts. We are just we are all small actors, all of us in the creative industry, and we are working towards a common goal. Just like George said, it is not about personal interest. It's far from being personal interest. We are working towards the collective good of the industry. Get the attention, the appreciation, the recognition, and most importantly, the respect. And I'm so grateful that. George Quay, Abuaje. I'm so grateful to you, Ken. I'm so grateful to Fifi Coleman. He told us he had a very busy schedule, but he made time when we started to make his contribution and for joining us and having this relevant conversation. To our listeners, a number of people have requested to speak, but our speaker says they are engaged, and so unfortunately maybe we would have to, and maybe on our next edition we can have a second part of this. But to our listeners, to thank you so much. This is graphic show-based dialogue series, and we it's a platform that we talk about relevant topics, not just talk. We write about them, and we ensure that at least we make some impact with our topics. And we are grateful that every time you join us and you make this successful. And I want to thank my team. I want to thank the online team, the digital team, and my editor and everyone who joined us. This most importantly, I want to thank our panelists. We contacted you within a short time, and because of relationship, you decided to hit our call, and you've been very relevant this evening. Thank you so much, George. Thank you so much, Ken Misaki. Thank you so much, Fifi. And then to everyone who joined today's conversation, thank you and have a good evening. George, would you want to say
thank you.
something? Thank
Yes, I
you.
also just want to thank you guys out there at the Graphic Communications Group for your
Maybe,
contributions to
maybe
the
you can talk
arts.
about your. Okay, I
No, I
forgot.
just
I
want to
should have.
thank you guys. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no, no, it's all right. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll have another time to speak about that one. Just want to thank you guys at the Graphic Communications Group for your contribution to the creative sector in Ghana. Your contribution to the arts is truly commendable. I know it's not easy, but you guys are doing your best. And I just wanted to give you thumbs up for all the great jobs that you're doing. God richly bless you. And I pray that you are able to continue to sustain it. Together, we're going to win.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Neil, please, would you want to say anything? Otherwise, we call it a day and a good evening.
I think I'd like to say amen to George's prayer. You guys have been
Okay, then.
phenomenal.
And then amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen to all
Bless
our
you.
listeners, to our panel listeners, to those who joined us. Amen. Have a good evening.